sides of a story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaners website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
I saw my land in the morning, and oh, but she was fair. The hills flamed upwards, scorning death and failure here. I saw through the mist of the morning a wave like a sea set free, faith to the dawn returning, dark tide, bright unity. I saw my friends in the morning. They called from an equal gate. Build now whilst time is burning. Forward before it's late. The old gods awake. Past and future break. On as the voices roll. Move as a single whole. Forward, 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 forward. O country, to your goal.
That we all should live as one brothers. This is the time that we all should live as one sisters. So come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. You and I be right, this unity. So come along, brothers and sisters. Oh. war. Because two wrongs can never make a right. So look into the age that we're living in today, brothers. Look into the age that we're living in today, sisters. So come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. You and I be one is unity. So come along, brothers and sisters.
It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 21st day of the first month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Americans are marking January as Human Trafficking Awareness Month and Mentorship Month. Earthquake Awareness Month activities continue here in Jamaica. It's Errol Barrow Day in Barbados. The Feast of Our Lady of Altagracia is being observed in the Dominican Republic. And Saint Jovan is on in Serbia. Hoy es viernes el 21 de enero 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est vendredi le 21 janvier 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. Come back. All we're saying is it's Friday, the 21st of January, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
This is the time that we all should live as one sisters. So come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. UNITY is unity. So come along, brothers and sisters.
Desmond Decker and the Aces, UNITY. And before that, Jamaica by M.G. Smith. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you are one of the groups across the diaspora, which from time to time logs on to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM. The United States and the United Kingdom, listeners in those territories can in fact dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom. Those in the United States who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631 359 8281, 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953. 0330 606 0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, there's always YouTube. All you need is a smartphone or a not so smartphone, a laptop computer, tablet computer, desktop or PC. And then, of course, you'll need internet connection. And then you open a browser like Bing, Safari, or Google Chrome and type the word YouTube, and the search box will populate with all the details. And if you're doing that right now, you should see this video trending. If not, in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Always anxious and eager to hear your story on both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. The lines are open to you, 876-922-4112. Did we take the 2:15 break? Don't think we did. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:16.
Sipa copper.
Sipa Copa.
Yes, Sipa copper.
Sipa Copa what?
Sipa copper Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags.
Sipa Copper Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipa Copper tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipa Copper today. You'll be happy you did.
Distributed by Caramel Group Limited.
We are the sound of soca.
Soca fans, live it up this Saturday as you wave your rags and walk up your waist in the all-night Soca on Faith Frequency. It's the Soca Cool Effect Edition.
And it's soca therapy.
Featuring the kings of Soca, DJ Patrick Howard, DJ Cash, and DJ Iris Super Cooper. Join us in our VIP Zoom, watch the South area, and tune in live on Faith 95 FM and on TV or online at onestopmedia.com and on the Faith Frequency Cloud channel. Yes, this Saturday it's Faith Frequency Soca Cool Effect, 9 p.m. Jamaica. Sponsored by Corona Vodka, world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. A reminder, the numbers to call to share with us your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your recommendations, your concerns, your issues, whatever is on your mind. The lines are open. Once again, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can send us your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. In fact, you can call us via WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. The email address is bothsides106@live.com. bothsides106@live.com. And we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, all of those available to you. Once you type DERVANMALCOLM, all of those links will pop up one way or another. Welcome to Dale Henry. He says hello from the Cayman Islands. Happy New Year to you too, Dale Henry. He says he was in Jamaica a few days since the start of the year, but only as far as the airport, so longing to come home for a chill. Well, we hope you get the opportunity to come home for that long-awaited chill, Dale Henry. Thank you so much for connecting. Please keep in touch here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Carol Shields, good afternoon. Kitty Relanda, welcome. Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew. Good afternoon to you too, and all the very best. On this Friday afternoon, Friday the 21st of January 2022, let's share with you some history. Let's look at 1643. The Dutch navigator Abel Tasman became the first European to reach Tonga on this day in 1653. Yes, you've been hearing about Tonga in the news and perhaps never thought of Tonga before hearing what happened in Tonga. And so we're giving you a bit of that history right now. So essentially, if you haven't been following the news recently, a very large eruption of Hunga Tonga Hunga Hai Pai, a volcanic island of Tonga in the Pacific Ocean, began on the 14th of January this year. Hunga Tonga is 65 kilometers north of Tongagatapu, the country's main island. The eruption caused tsunamis in Tonga, Fiji, American Samoa, and along the rim of the Pacific Ocean. Tsunami warnings were issued in Fiji, Samoa, Vanuatu, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Russia, the US, Canada, Mexico, Chile, and Ecuador. Damaging tsunami waves were reported in New Zealand, the United States, Chile, and Peru. 2 people drowned in Peru when a 2-meter wave struck the coast, and 2 fishermen in the United States suffered minor injuries. Just another reminder that we're all connected one way or another. Look at where Tonga is, and look at how far-reaching its impact, the impact of the eruption. Look at how far-reaching it is. So let's get back to the history now with respect to Tonga. As we said, on this day in 1643, the Dutch navigator Abel Tasman became the first European to reach Tonga on this day in 1643. Just over a month earlier, on the 13th of December, 1642, Abel Tasman, Tasman, Abel, as in Cain and Abel, Abel, Abel Tasman became the first European explorer to sight the South Pacific island group, now known as New Zealand. In his sole attempt to land, several of Tasman's crew were killed by warriors from a South Island tribe who interpreted the Europeans' exchange of trumpet signals as a prelude to battle. A few weeks earlier, Tasman had discovered Tasmania. That's how that place name came about. Tasmania, name for Abel Tasman, the Dutch navigator. Let's get back to the story. So a few weeks earlier, Tasman had discovered what we now call Tasmania off the southeast coast of Australia. Tasman had named the island Van Diemen's Land, but like the Tasman Sea between New Zealand and Australia, it was later renamed Tasmania in honor of Abel Tasman, the Dutch navigator. New Zealand, named after the Dutch province of Zeeland, did not attract much additional European attention until the late 18th century, when English explorer Captain James Cook traveled through the area and wrote detailed accounts of the islands. Whalers, missionaries, and traders followed, and in 1840, Britain formally annexed the islands and established New Zealand's first permanent European settlement at Wellington. 1733, Bernard Mandeville, or Bernard de Mandeville, died on this day in 1733. Bernard Mandeville was a philosopher, political economist, and satirist. Born in the Netherlands, he lived most of his life in England and used English for most of his published works. He became famous or infamous for The Fable of the Bees. The Fable of the Bees, or Private Vices, Public Benefits, is a book by Bernard Mandeville consisting of the poem The Grumbling Hive, or Knaves Turned Honest, and a prose discussion of it. The poem was published in 1705, and the book first appeared in 1714. The poem elucidates many key principles of economic thought, including division of labor and the invisible hand, and all of this 70 years before Adam Smith. Indeed, John Maynard Keynes argues Smith was probably referencing Bernard Mandeville. It also describes the paradox of thrift centuries before Keynes and may be seen as part of the school of underconsumption. So for those of us who think certain thoughts and ideas and philosophies started with Adam Smith and John Maynard Keynes, you might want to check out and research Bernard Mandeville, Bernard, and Mandeville, like Mandeville, the capital of Manchester, Bernard Mandeville. Let's keep it rolling as we share with you some more history. 1793. This one is on the longish side. Let's see if we can fit it in. After being found guilty of treason by the French Convention, Louis XVI of France was executed by guillotine. Here's some background. In 1774, with the death of King Louis XV, Louis and Marie were crowned King and Queen of France. From the start, Louis was unsuited to deal with the severe financial problems he had inherited from his grandfather, King Louis XV. In addition, his queen fell under criticism for her extravagance, her devotion to the interests of Austria, and her opposition to reform of the monarchy. Marie exerted a growing influence over her husband, and under their reign, the monarchy became dangerously alienated from the French people. In a legendary episode, Marie allegedly responded to the news that the impoverished French peasantry had no food to eat, declaring, "Let them eat cake." That is, if we're to believe Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The truth is, there is absolutely no record of Marie Antoinette ever using those words. In fact, Jean-Jacques Rousseau did not actually call Marie Antoinette's name. Here's what he actually said. Enfin, je me rappelais le pis-aller d'une grande princesse à qui l'on disait que les paysans n'avaient pas de pain et qui répondit qu'ils mangent de la brioche. J'ai acheté de la brioche. And the English translation is, finally, I recalled the last resort proposal of a great princess who was told that the peasants had no bread and who responded, "Let them eat brioche. I bought brioche." As we said, this one is on the longish side. There's more. But let's take the break and come back and share more with you on this most famous quotation, "Let them eat cake." You're getting some background towards that. One moment, please.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
The Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, is now being onboarded to the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT. Effective January 10, 2022, J-SWIFT will be facilitating online applications for all JACRA import permit releases.
Traders and their agents will now be able to make online payments for Jacra cess. Benefits will include faster processing times and increased convenience, facilitating trade and doing business. No more walk-ins or waiting in lines. The Jacra Import Permit Release Service, effective January 10, 2022 on J-Swift. Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Looking to the age that we're living into their problems. Looking to the age that we're
Thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. So the phrase, let them eat cake, there's no evidence that Marie Antoinette used those words. Those words, well, let's give you some more information. So here's the thing. The phrase, let them eat cake, or in the case of the actual term for that particular pastry, let them eat brioche, B-R-I-O-C-H-E, brioche. The phrase is meant to show the ignorance or callousness of the upper classes about the living conditions of the poor, who, if they cannot find or afford bread, can surely not obtain brioche, because brioche was a sort of bread enriched with butter and eggs. Also of significant note is the fact that in 1769, that's when Jean-Jacques Rousseau made mention of a princess telling peasants, eat cake. Marie Antoinette was only 13 years old, going on 14. So he could not have been referring to her. The icing on the cake, pun intended, was a description of Jean-Jacques Rousseau by one of his biographers as being a mentally sick man, and that the conviction of total rectitude was a primary symptom of his illness. Evidence is cunningly fabricated, history rewritten, and chronology confused with superb ingenuity. The truths Rousseau presents often turn out to be half-truths. So since he frequently made things up, and this anecdote has no other source, the story is also probably his own invention. With that out of the way, let's get back to the story. At the outbreak of the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette and Louis resisted the advice of constitutional monarchists who sought to reform the monarchy in order to save it. And by 1791, opposition to the royal pair had become so fierce that the two were forced to attempt an escape to Austria. During their trip, Marie and Louis were apprehended by revolutionary forces at Varennes in France and carried back to Paris. There, Louis was forced to accept the Constitution of 1791, which reduced him to a mere figurehead. In August 1792, the royal couple was arrested by the sans-culottes and imprisoned. And in September, the monarchy was abolished by the National Convention. In November, evidence of Louis' counter-revolutionary intrigues with Austria and other foreign nations was discovered, and he was put on trial for treason by the National Convention. The following January, Louis was convicted and condemned to death by a narrow majority. On this day, in 1793, Louis XVI walked steadfastly to the guillotine and was executed. 9 months later, Marie Antoinette was convicted of treason by a tribunal, and on October 16, she followed her husband to the guillotine. And let's come back home for a moment now and tell you that Caleb Dickinson died on this day in 1821. Why are we telling you this? In his will, he desired his trustees to carry out the benevolent wishes of his respected relative, Robert Hugh Monroe, and further to help the aged poor of the parish. Robert Hugh Monroe, in his will, dated this day in 1797, and a codicil of May 23rd, 1797, bequeathed the residue of his real and personal estate in certain contingencies in trust to his nephew, Caleb Dickinson, and the church wardens of St. Elizabeth and their successors to lay out the same in the endowment of a school to be erected and maintained in the same parish for the education of as many poor children as the funds might be sufficient to provide for and maintain. For several years, nothing was done about carrying out the wishes of Caleb Dickinson. Several inquiries into the matter were made, and in 1825, an act of legislature was passed for regulating the charity fund, setting out a scheme for its management. But this scheme was never put into effect. In 1831, Philip Berry, Custos of Manchester, interested himself in the matter, and from time to time presented petitions from the people of St. Elizabeth. In 1834, he brought in a bill to sell the real estate of Monroe and Dickinson, and an act was passed, but was never ever printed. It was not until 1855 that the Act 18 Victoria Chap, that's 18 Victoria Chapter 53, was passed, with the result that the remains of the charity were rescued, only a small fraction of the original bequest. By this act, the custodies and rectors of St. Elizabeth and Manchester, the members of Assembly for St. Elizabeth, and 5 others were the governors and trustees of Monroe and Dickinson's free school and charity. The trustees were appointed to select a healthy site in St. Elizabeth for the erection of a school. And in August 1856, a free school was opened for boys near Black River. Early in 1857, the trustees purchased the premises at Potsdam, an old coffee property, and the school was removed thither. It was removed there, and was until 1915 known as Potsdam School. Sometime after 1857, a school for girls was started in the Great House, the present site of the headmaster's house, but this was found unsatisfactory, possibly because of its proximity to the boys' school. The headmistress was Miss Elizabeth Ramson, sister of Archdeacon Ramson. The girls' school was then for a short time at Torrington, and then was moved to Mount Zion, now called Sterling. There were certainly less than 12 girls. Miss Ramsall resigned in December 1884, and the trustees paid a great tribute to her for her 25 years devoted service. On Miss Ramson's resignation, the trustees had to find a house for the girls' school because Mount Zion was the home of the Ramson family and had been rented by the trust. Mr. C.E. Isaacs offered them Corby Castle, about 1.5 miles from Potsdam, but the trustees thought it unsuitable and rented Malvern House from Mr. A.F. Lawrence, and the school opened there in 1885 with Miss McCutcheon as headmistress. In 1886, there were 11 girls, all foundationers, free or £20. So this is essentially the story of Monroe College and Hampton School for Girls. That's how they came about, from the Dickinson Monroe Trust. Caleb Dickinson, who died on this day in 1821, and his relative was Robert Hugh Monroe. Caleb Dickinson, the Monroe Dickinson Trust. Let's look at 1824 here in Jamaica. John Bull, a wealthy Kingston merchant and one of the city's first aldermen. That's what they used to. That's how they used to refer to councillors. They used to call them aldermen, Aldermen. So John Bull, a wealthy Kingston merchant and one of the city's first aldermen, elected in 1802, died at age 83 on this day in 1824. John Bull was said to have built one of Kingston's most impressive mansions as a wager among 4 wealthy businessmen to win the affections of a much married and notorious lady of the day, Teresa Constantine Phillips. The mansion was at the northeast corner of King and North Streets. Another of the mansions John Bull built was Hibbert House on Duke Street in downtown Kingston. Queen Victoria died on this day in 1901, and for the first time since January 21, 1901, when Queen Victoria died, the stentorian God Save the Queen was heard at the Home Circuit Court on King Street in downtown Kingston. The American inventor Elisha Gray died on this day in 1901. Elisha Gray was an American electrical engineer who co-founded the Western Electric Manufacturing Company. Elisha Gray is best known for his development of a telephone prototype in 1876 in Highland Park, Illinois, and is considered by some writers to be the true inventor of the variable resistance telephone, despite losing out to Alexander Graham Bell for the telephone patent. That's a story we have told before on this program with respect to the invention of the telephone. If you ask anybody right now who would have read or have been told who is the inventor of the telephone, they'll tell you Alexander Graham Bell. And technically speaking, they're not wrong, except that Elisha Gray also invented the telephone. Here's what happened. Both men went to the patent office to register their respective inventions. But Alexander Graham Bell got to the patent office before Elisha Gray. And so to this day, Alexander Graham Bell is known as the inventor of the telephone. Elisha Gray is also considered to be the father of the modern music synthesizer and was awarded more than 70 patents for his inventions. Elisha Gray conceived of a primitive closed-circuit television system that he called the telephote. Pictures would be focused on an array of selenium cells, and signals from the selenium cells would be transmitted to a distant station on separate wires. At the receiving end, each wire would open or close a shutter to recreate the image. So the business of CCTVs, closed-circuit TV, Elisha Gray conceived of what is described as a primitive closed-circuit television. And to think that after all these years, we are still struggling to properly use the technology to capture some of those, or those of us who are committing all kinds of crimes in this country. What a tragedy.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Tom, Dick, Harry, or Abby, come out. You may have passed one subject or no subject. Pick up yourself, man. Brush yourself off and go back to school. Get up. No need to be depressed. The Ligani School is offering refresher courses to you with or without CXC subjects. Call the Liganese School. They're registered for January 2022. Give yourself a fresh start. Call the Liganese School at 876-924-3244 for registration.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Living in today's sisters, so come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. UNITY is unity, so come along.
Sharing with you a bit of history on this Friday, the 21st of January 2022, on both sides of the story. Good afternoon to the Kiwanians listening to us. Kiwanis International was founded in Detroit, Michigan. On this day in 1915, Kiwanis International is an international co-educational service club founded in 1915. It is headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana. Kiwanis International now has more than 260,000 members in some 8,000 clubs covering 96 countries worldwide. The average age, 57, 74% men, 26% women. The name Kiwanis was coined from an Ochipiu American Indian expression, Nung Kiwanis, variously translated as we trade, we share our talents, we make a noise, or we meet. That's the meaning of Kiwanis, going by the Ochipiu American Indian expression, Nunk, N-U-N-C, Ki, K-E-E, Wanis, W-A-N-I-S, Nunki Wanis, which when it's variously translated as we trade, we share our talents, we make a noise, or we meet. This was originally the motto of Kiwanis, translated as we build. The current motto is serving the children of the world. Members of the club are called Kiwanians. Kiwanis International is headed by a board of trustees, an international president, and other officers. These officers are elected at the annual convention of Kiwanis International. There are 53 administrative districts, each headed by a governor, and the districts are further divided into service areas called divisions, comprising 12 to 20 clubs and headed by a lieutenant governor. Every club has a president and board of directors. The organization was founded on January 21st, 1915 in Detroit, Michigan by Joseph G. Prance, P-R-A-N-C-E, a tailor, and Allen S. Brown, Brown with an E, a professional fraternity organizer. In August 1914, Brown suggested to Prance the idea of a business and professional men's club with social and commercial benefits. Prance was sold on the idea, and in 1915, the Kiwanis Club of Detroit, Michigan was founded. By 1927, the organization had more than 100,000 members. Kiwanis became international with the organization of the Kiwanis Club of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada in 1916. Kiwanis limited its membership to the United States and Canada until 1962, when worldwide expansion was approved. Since then, Kiwanis has spread to all inhabited continents of the world. Let's put a pause on the history for now and go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Blessings and good day to you and yours, Mr. Malcolm.
Blessings and good day to you and yours too.
And blessings and good day to all your listeners on various platforms all over the world. Mr. Malcolm, some time ago, I asked you what happened to the bounty that Captain Williams Blythe's famous ship. Have you come up with any research on what took place with that bounty?
There was a mutiny on the bounty.
Yes. But what happened to it? It's a famous ship. It should still be around, shouldn't it? They should have it in some exhibit.
Perhaps like the original generator, which made St. Elizabeth, Black River in St. Elizabeth, the first place to have electricity. That generator,
State of America.
That generator should have been. The plan was to take it to the UTech, University of Technology, and to have it as a showpiece. Nobody to this day can tell where the generator went. Which is, yes.
And I see. Do you know, so the Kofa boat in Egypt is still around? And that dates over 3,000 years ago.
That is remarkable.
And it's still sailable.
That is quite remarkable.
How much the bounty? Anyway, the bounty was taken off the coast of Africa and dismantled, and all the goods show up among the coast, the west coast of Africa, Ghana, those areas.
Really? Where did you get that information from?
It's in our book.
Which book?
Out of the book of the Lord and Reader.
Oh.
Isaiah 32:16.
So it explicitly states the bounty. It names the ship.
It does that. No, it does have the specific state, but we did that. But Mr. Malcolm, I want to was it yesterday? Yesterday, yes. You were, and I want to ask you what meaning of Commonwealth. You were saying that this Miss Sears, Miss Earl Sears, the first black lieutenant governor of Virginia, and you goes on to say she served the Commonwealth, and you emphasize the Commonwealth of Virginia. What's a Commonwealth, Mister, in that context?
It's either an independent country or a community, especially a democratic republic. It could also refer to a grouping of states or other bodies, a community or organization of shared interests in a non-political field, for example. It has quite a few meanings. A self-governing unit voluntarily grouped with the U.S., such as Puerto Rico.
Because they also refer to those that are that has got independent. Those countries have got independent from under the British monarchy. Independent. That I don't mean like what happened to the Barbados, but
yes,
I mean independent. They also call them a Commonwealth.
Yeah, the term the Commonwealth also refers to the Republican period of government in Britain between the execution of Charles I in 1649 and the restoration of Charles II in 1660.
Okay, interesting. Because I recall when this after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1998. What that is? 1998, the break of the Soviet Union. Those 13 states that was called the Soviet Republic. They also call those countries that break off and become free as the Commonwealth of former Soviet states. But interestingly, I saw it in the scripture, Ephesians. I know of it, but I was looking for it and I found it yesterday. And this is what it says. So I was thinking that Commonwealth would mean a dispersed group or a scattering. All right, listen to this context. This is found in the book of Ephesians, the New Testament, Ephesians 2 and verse 11. Yes, 11 and 12. Paul was saying, therefore remember that he were being in time past Gentiles, and he was addressing Israelites in this community of Ephesus, which is was found in the old world back in the time of Turkey in the first century AD. He said, wherefore remember that ye were being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcised, by which is called the circumcision. In other words, the children of Israel that was in the southern kingdom, the Jews, were discriminating against this dispersed group, which was of the northern kingdom. Because most people don't know that when Paul was preaching to the Gentile, he was really preaching to Israelites who adopted Gentile custom, who was in Gentile land. And that is causing the confusion that Christ died for everybody, Jews and Gentiles. But the scripture specifically said...
Oh, that's not so? He didn't die for everybody?
No, only for... He himself said that in the book of Matthew chapter 15:24.
Who did he say he died for? Say that?
Only the children of Israel.
I see.
They received the commandment and the law. They were in the wilderness with Moses, and they broke the covenant. This is why he has to die for our redemption, including you, Mr.
So
Michael.
you are one of the children of Israel.
But you are too.
I see.
And you are from the region that is called Judah.
What's the significance of that though? Why is that so important to you? Because you've been trumpeting that for years now. Why?
Let us finish it, the Commonwealth, and educate the people. All right. I know verse 12 said, and at that time ye were without Christ. Yes? They didn't know Christ. Because Christ came.
Who didn't know Christ?
These are the Israelites who was being adopted Gentile custom. I was scattered. Remember the northern kingdom fall. The northern kingdom of Israel with the 10 tribes fall, and in between AD, rather BCE, 709 to 712, and they were scattered. You found that in 2 Kings chapter 17, when the northern kingdom fell under the Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian king Shalmaneser conquered that kingdom with the 10 tribes, and they scattered them all over the known world then. But I'm referring to the Commonwealth here. I'm not going to use it in this context. Aliens from the Commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. He was speaking to his brethren in Ephesus, who were Israelites, but has been lost among the crowd of people, and after many generations, not knowing that they were the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Commonwealth. So it would be the scattering of Israel. Would that be appropriate there? In verse 12? Christ being alien from the scattering of Israel and strangers from the covenant of promise. So it's a community, like I said, they stay in the same interest. Similar? So
I'm still asking, what's the why is it so significant? Why is it so important to you?
Because it's significant to me, and it should be significant to you, and henceforth, this is why it matters. Because I want to mention something in regards to what you said and what this lady, Miss Sears, the first lieutenant governor, and why would Virginia be called a Commonwealth?
They refer to the individual states as such from time to time. You know, that's pretty common. It's not unique to Virginia. One moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
So come along, brothers and sisters. We must leave us war, because two wrongs can never make a right. Look living in today, brothers.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. I'm getting an indication from our program assistant on duty that we do have calls lined up. So you're going to have to help us in that regard by bringing to a conclusion your presentation this afternoon, please.
But I do, because I want to say something.
I'm sorry, did you hear anything I said a while ago?
Yes, I said.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of back off the scripture and give other people an opportunity.
Yes.
Yes. Concerning Captain Cook and Hawaii. Like, you remember I told you before that these Captain Cook, Christopher Columbus, the whole of them know who we are, where we were located on the geography of the world, of this side of the world. That's why they came. Captain Cook, in Hawaii, which were the tribe of the Hawaiian. Originally, the people in Hawaii. That's where the tribe of Naphtali. The scripture said they gave it goodly word. That's why when they go to Hawaii, they greet you with aloha. Genesis 49. They greet you with aloha. He said, our father Jacob told us where we would land in our captivity. Understand me? So Captain Cook and the book called the Apocrypha was taken out of the scripture. That out of 14 books, they were reading it. If you watch this movie about Christopher Columbus discovering the New World, you see they were reading from the book. It's called the Apocrypha from the book called Second Esdras, Esdras. They were reading, so they know exactly. That's why they brought interpreter. We were speaking Hebrew, by the way, and we didn't take Captain Cook. Our brother in Hawaii didn't take Captain Cook as no God, just like what we didn't when they came over this side near Mexico. What was his name? Cortez. We didn't take them for no God. We know who they were. Okay, I will end with that for the time being and give others opportunity.
Thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for calling.
Dervan, Malcolm,
Good afternoon, sir.
professor of the University of the World,
Oh, you're very kind.
historian. Sir, yesterday was a great day in your absence, but in your presence, I saw the air looking like moonlight. The eyes was as bright as the sun, and the voice was scattered just like the stars. I went and saw this great lady, Miss May Williams, in person. All protocols were in place and was followed. And she was listening to your program. So we both enjoy your program.
Thank you. Good afternoon to Miss May. It's been a while. We need to talk, Miss May.
I told her that you're longing to see her and to talk to her.
Yes.
But guess what, sir?
What?
Next month will be a next milestone that she will be completing and started the next one.
Is that was that 90?
That,
or am I miscalculating?
It's going up a little further.
95?
4.
94. Whoa.
Yes.
That's excellent going.
Please, I tell you, man, it's just because of the arthritis why she was standing. But her voice was as bright as the sound of your own on the radio. So she was pleased to see it. It was about 3 of us went there.
Good.
So, you know, she sat quietly listening us, and then she tuned into your program.
Oh, lovely.
So, sir, I said, let me pass it on to you.
Well,
and I will listen to your program for the rest of the day. Please enjoy the weekend, sir.
Thank you.
And come back fit Monday and your show on Saturday. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot. All the best. Good. Take care. Good afternoon to May Williams, Miss May, in the hills of Clarendon. Good afternoon to you, Miss May. Smithville in Clarendon. Good afternoon. And thank you so much for tuning in, and all the very best. Need to give you a call one of these days, sooner than later. Thank you very much for your interest. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you, too.
I'm alone there, Virgin.
T-O-O.
Oh, because that's a young pass spelling bee contest. That's good. Anyway, God bless up Miss May also, and Miss May is actually suffering from joint rhinitis. Nothing is wrong with her heart, and she's batting very good, and she could share a lesson with the West Indies team. The brethren that spoke there a while ago, and he quoted a book named Esdras. It is the same book as Esther. In that said book, you would have a book named Wisdom, which would have been the same as the book of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you an assignment this evening? And you can do it by giving your opinion where you would start and how you would do it. One of them is the forgotten baby syndrome. Is that you created disease by what just happened to that baby?
No, that's been around for a long time.
So it does not apply to anybody else who have been like how me and my glass from here and I look how whole place sweet. That happened to me.
I would have to. I'm not sure the fact that it refers specifically to baby or babies would suggest that it's the business. We saw it for those who have seen the series of movies, Home Alone.
Yeah, man, I'm breaking that, man.
Yes, it's a classic example of that. Mind you, Kevin, the character in the movie, not exactly a baby, but close enough. But it's
different because remember, it is that Kevin alone was a part of the family. All the other people, them are late and they grab the things and run to the beach.
Right.
Kevin now, for whatever reason, they remember saying they come out, they leave because they thought everyone was together. So I don't know if it will apply in the same context.
Yeah, well, the general information we have is that the forgotten baby syndrome is the medical explanation for how, as a parent, you can walk away from a car. So clearly a car must be in the mix. Walk away from a car without realizing that your child is still inside.
Circumstances, that's why he would walk away from the car, leave the child.
Say that again. I didn't hear you before. Circumstances.
Regardless, whatever the circumstances would have been.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if the family was in the car, the mother got out, gone to work, and the father himself getting late now, and just forgot that he had not dropped off the child, and the child was possibly asleep, so he never made the sound. That's a normal thing for anybody who now suffer from that syndrome to encounter.
I don't know about it being normal, because you would think that the fact that this is not an inanimate object we're talking about. This is a human being, flesh and blood. And one would think that you would, if you have your wits about you, if your head is in the right place, so to speak, that you will remember that you have a child in the car. So people are suggesting, based on what happened in Jamaica recently, and we're not making a pronouncement specifically on that matter, but people have been speculating that, people's, and they, I've heard a psychiatrist on this saying that it's an it could be an indication of a number of things. It could be stress. It could be just one's routine. So, for example, personally, every now and then I have to tell people that I'm a creature of habit. And so if I'm a because I like to plan and organize and structure, I organize that I am going to be moving from point A, and this is the route I'm going to take, etc. And let's say it's a route that I more often than not that I take. If I'm asked to pick up something on the way or to drop off something on the way, uh, I might very well forget to pick up or drop off that thing because my mind, I don't normally stop along the route. I normally just move from point A to point B. And so, in that regard, I forget because it is out of my routine. It's not a part of my routine, and it happens to all of us in general terms, not the forgotten baby syndrome, no, but in general terms, because we're used to a particular routine. When something out of the norm happens, or when we're asked to do something other than we are accustomed to doing in that routine, invariably we forget. Yes.
Sometimes I have a particular place that I put my keys. And if for whatever reason we put it somewhere else, my God, is the biggest problem time is putting a camera and know where to go look now.
Yeah, and that's actually a good habit to have in terms of, yeah, I'm like that too. There are some things I do once I get home. Like first thing is to wash my hands, take off my shoes, without touching, and whatever else, and wash my hands and put down my keys in a particular location, my bag at a particular location, and get rid of my outside clothes, so to speak, and so on and so forth. So there are some routine things that we do, which is not a bad idea, because it should be easier then to find your keys if you keep putting them in the same place. I've had a conversation like that with Wilmot Perkins some years ago. He was giving us an idea that he's like that as well in terms of the routine, making sure putting his things where when he's ready for them, he can find them. So in that regard, I think he made reference to his wife as well as not liking when she shifts. And, it happens in relationships from time to time. You set your thing a particular way and your spouse decides, oh, she's going to do you something good by cleaning up your area or helping to fix up your area. And the next thing you know, the moment you get it, that is done, and you get into your area, you can't find your things.
That's why I don't like to search for anything what is not mine. Neither do I touch anything. Yes. Because I don't like people change or touch or move anything that I put it on.
Yes.
No matter how the night dark, I'm supposed to just go and pick it up.
That's always my thing. If God forbid, if I lose my sight, I should be able to feel my way around and find my things in the same place.
The bigger point now is that policeman, if he's suffering from such a disease, he might just run the stoplight without remembering that there's a stoplight there.
Yeah, well, anybody. Again, we don't want to. It's a sensitive matter, and let's remember that people are still grieving, and we just need to be a little sensitive in that regard. But like for anybody else, it can happen. There are those motorists who deliberately and in a calculated way run the red light. Invariably, maybe ever so often, or once in a blue moon, or you have those now who would just do it without even realizing what they're done because they perhaps were distracted by somebody in the car or something they saw on the road. So that is possible as well.
Yeah, I agree. Another one is again.
Right. Hold a moment, please, Raskava. Let's take the break and come back. And we know Miss Needham is waiting, but the calls came in before yours, Miss Needham. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
The Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, is now being onboarded to the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT. Effective January 10, 2022, J-Swift will be facilitating online applications for all JACRA import permit releases. Traders and their agents will now be able to make online payments for JACRA cess. Benefits will include faster processing times and increased convenience, facilitating trade and doing business. No more walk-ins or waiting in lines. The JACRA Import Permit Release Service, effective January 10, 2022 on J-Swift.
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission, protecting your rights, securing our future.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding, Raskaba. Please continue.
Yeah, hi, Miss Needham. I'll be letting you get your say. Another 3 questions are popping up in my mind based on that little boy that was found in the car with his throat slit based on what was reported. The lady was driving a car based on the brand the car. I thought the doors would have automatically locked up while the car is moving. And it was reported that she was going through a pothole, over a pothole, around a pothole, and then slow down. Hence, people run from nowhere and drag her out of the car, hit her in the face, take away the car, and then look, you find the car abandoned with the little boy short split. And I'm saying that obviously they did not want the car because they could have left the occupants together at the same place. And they drove away with the boy and then abandoned the car with the body of the boy in it. I cannot look through that and see what would be their motive for doing that.
That's always the thing. They say you see a man's face, you don't see his heart. Nobody knows but that person or those people what their motive was. They are the only ones who could tell us.
I don't want it to be. I was giving you an assignment to investigate, but we're not bada.
No, the matter is being seriously investigated. The police tell us that they have put some of their best investigators on the case, and they are not going to stop until they are able to get to the bottom of that particular case.
Take 2 more minutes.
Go ahead.
A fixed deposit in our bank that fixed for a specific period, then renewed after that time is up automatically. Do you have to go to the bank to lodge withdraw or do anything to that account for it to stay active?
No, because the arrangement is not the arrangement of a regular savings account or checking account. It's an arrangement having to do with a fixed deposit arrangement. It's a yes. So that it wouldn't be it would then take on the characteristics that fixed deposits take on, which means they're there to earn money on your money, earn interest, a certain amount of interest, and the real benefit is felt the longer you keep the money in there. And just allow it to keep rolling over. You can take it after 30 days if it's a 30-day fixed deposit arrangement. But if you don't, it just keeps rolling over and you keep benefiting, you keep earning your money. That's your money working for you.
I went back to NCD late in last year to do a little checkup to Agua. After waiting hours in a line, hours in a bank, go to the personnel, and we were told that the amount that is on the certificate for the fixed deposit is not the same amount in their system. However, they go and check out whomever they think would have known everything about it and give me a call, and that's going over 4 months now. I spent over 1 hour this morning talking to a customer care rep. He asked me everything away from what color and away me have on. After we send the PR, the ID, the numbers and the certificate, which brand, and everything. I remember him, I said, please hold on, I'm going to check and update your account. After 1 hour, she come back to tell me, say, the account is closed. How can the bank close a person's account without...
Your a fixed deposit account?
Yes, that automatically renewed every 30 days.
No, that sounds odd. That sounds odd. Something is not right there.
So like that to me too, because you cannot have the certificate that is printed from a computer, and on that computer there's a different information than where they find the certificate.
No, that warrants an investigation.
Then now we have to go back, then now we stand up one day and so now to go get them tell you all kind of setting, and there's no redress you will be able to get from that based on your all kind of embarrassment and stress we put you through.
No, we're terribly sorry to hear that, but that shouldn't be, because the idea, the banks, it's in their interest, it's in their best interest to keep your money, to have that money in there, so it keeps turning over.
Working it and making money for the interest.
That's right. That's right. So it would suit them. It would suit them for it to keep going. That sounds odd. That's very odd. That's very odd.
Give me a one first name. What is your name? She give me a first name, and I ask her if she alone did they buy that name. She just give me one first name, and she want me middle name, me pet name, every name for me.
Yes.
But people need to just be careful and really get it in detail and go back to your bank and keep checking on them, because they have a way of swindling people money and cards.
Well, we don't have any evidence of any bank swindling anybody, Raskava. So that's a sweeping statement you're making there. But sorry to hear of your plight. We understand your frustration. And yes. Yeah, which is why we really are supposed to ask questions. We shouldn't be shy or afraid when we are setting up accounts or when we're investing. We should have as many questions as possible answered before we sign on the dotted line, as they say, so that we know what we're getting into, because they're not going to tell you everything. So
should not be. Will I lose my money if I bring it here to your bank and keep it as safety? All right, Mr. Malcolm.
Thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good afternoon, Ms. Needham. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon. I will do a thoroughly investigation for Raskava, sir.
We hear you.
Mr. Malcolm, I thank you so much. I get in touch with June.
Happy to hear that.
And she talk like a man, very strong, Mr. Malcolm. Very strong. And what I want to say, Mr. Malcolm, you're doing a wonderful work, and I would like the Prime Minister and who in authority to acknowledge you more.
No.
Acknowledge you more. You're doing, you and Miss Althea Mackenzie, you're sweeping up a star, Mr. Malcolm.
No, that won't be necessary.
The most honorable Mr. Andrew Holness, who I respected so much, would look into you and listen to you and boy, even give you some more. A man like you, then we have a tax office, Mr. Malcolm, because they said the line would long out there so much. You're doing a wonderful work, Mr. Malcolm. I'm sorry I never met you when I was much younger. This is my few words, if you would accept me.
Thank you very much for the call. Thank you, Miss Needham.
All right, Mr. Malcolm.
Take care.
Okay, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to Yus G. Yus G says, we need more geopolitical history like this, including our own Jamaican history. Natalie Winter says, hi, Dervan. Loving your discourse on the radio. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. A happy weekend to all. To you too, Velta Wilson. Stawait says, this guy is so gravely misled in his understanding. Reference there to a caller earlier on. She says, Christ, which means anointed one, did indeed die for all. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Good afternoon. Cherry Henry says, have a great weekend. To you too, Cherry Henry. Taki Lemqua says, bless up on the downside of the afternoon, Dervan, and all in the mix. Greetings to you too, Taki Lemqua. Sharon Faith Like a Mustard Seed says, good afternoon, Dervan. I'm one of your regular listeners. I always like to listen to Rascava. He is such a smart fellow. Straight Shooter says, good day. Just read in the Gleaner Fitzbailey saying that murder of 9-year-old is proving difficult to solve. I guess it will be as impossible to solve as the murder at Patrick Bailey's house. Yes, well, it's one of the things that those who are vested with the investigative capacity have to contend with when members of the general public question, and you'll always have people raising questions, some rightfully so, others perhaps for a stretch, but this is why to investigators it's so important to bring an investigation to its finality so that people can say, oh, that's what happened, or I figured as much, that etc., etc. But without that, what is left is a void, a vacuum, and people fill that vacuum with all forms of speculation. Spare a thought for Patrick Bailey, because it is a fact that a murder took place at his house. And so whenever reference is drawn, his name is called. There's nothing libelous or slanderous in that, because it is a fact that a murder took place at his house. And it is also a fact that up to now, the police have had no reason, outside of all the interviews that they've done with him and other forms of investigation. There has so far been no evidence, nothing that would cause them to proffer charges based on the paucity of evidence. And the hope is that we'll get better, we'll continue to enhance our investigative capacity so that we're able to bring more of these cases to some kind of conclusion, if even a conclusion that results in the matter, people being taken before the court, etc. Thank you for your message, Straight Shooter on YouTube. Let's take some more. Let's go over to the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. But first, let's take a few more calls. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. That person got tired of holding. Hello, are you there? So sorry. Looks like we lost that caller. Sorry about that. We're close to the break, so let's take the break and come back with more on both sides of the story.
This is the time that we all should live as one brothers.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30. Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission, protecting your rights, securing our future.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Para 106 FM. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can also call us on WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. This message on WhatsApp says, "Good day, Dervan. Congratulations to the people of Barbados on re-electing the dynamic leader of the Caribbean. We are still awaiting one here in Jamaica. For 60 years of independence, we're going backward because of incompetent leaders without vision." Those, you know what we always say on this program, those who seek to lead but fail to manage will become either irrelevant or dangerous, not only to their organization, but to society. As we have also shared on this program, the political parties vie for leadership of the country, and they do so on the basis of their management capabilities, their management capacity, their ability to identify an approach that is in the best interest of Jamaica and Jamaicans as far as management of the affairs of the country is concerned. And to pursue that particular national policy. You're never going to be able to please everybody. It's just not possible. And not everybody will find favor with the decisions you make and the policies you pursue. And therefore, this is par for the course for members of the citizenry to express themselves when they get opportunities such as a talk show such as this, by sending in their messages or by calling us. It's just the way it is. And so those who are leading, those who are supposed to be managing, by all means, should listen to the people. Of course, the people would have given them a mandate. The majority would have given them a mandate, and they'll tell you the people have given them a mandate to serve, and that is what they are doing. But along the way, as you are serving and pursuing that particular national policy or series of policies, you must pay attention to the people, what kind of impact the policy or policies are having at different stages, so that you can make adjustments here and there and relieve some of the stress, etc., etc. And so this is not a play. This is not Dolly House. It's not a play. This is the real deal. running a country, managing the affairs of a country. And so you will always have parties winning and losing elections. Because for some parties, depending on the timing of the election, depending on what's happening in the economy at that time of the election, depending on what the overall mood of the country is, you might win. And then at another period of time when things are not so rosy, then you might lose. And even then, there are no guarantees because people, the members of the electorate, have their own reasons why they vote and how they vote. They have their own reason. All of us, we're not homogenous. We're not all the same. But the beauty about a democracy is that it gives people the freedom to express themselves, not just privately, but importantly, publicly, without fear of persecution. And I'm using that word deliberately. Well, that was my comment on, or those were my comments on the message that I just read. We'll come back to the other messages, but let's go to the phone lines once again. 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Malcolm, how are you, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
I am doing great. This is Richard Rowe. You know that name.
Richard Rowe from the Consumer Affairs Commission. Oh, goodness.
Sir,
what have I done? Have I breached some consumer right that you're going to read me the Riot Act now?
Not at all, sir. In fact,
ooh, what a relief.
You've done something so great, and that is to highlight Kiwanis International as a movement that is doing great across the world.
Indeed.
Yes?
Yes.
I heard you.
Yes.
You know, talking a little bit about how it started.
Yes.
And as a member, I thought it was important to have that kind of discussion, you know, and really bigging up Kiwanis, because just today, today marks the 7th anniversary of the Kiwanis Club of Barbican.
I didn't realize your club was that young.
Oh, yes, it is. That's a club that I started. I formed, I was the charter president.
Oh.
I'm the charter president for the club. But it was started on the 100th anniversary of Kiwanis International.
That is quite an achievement. That's an achievement of monumental proportions.
Absolutely. And of course, kids are curious, lovable, and, you know, hilarious sometimes.
Yes.
And they are so wild and impatient and vulnerable. And that is why Kiwanis is looking out for children, you know, for our kids. In every corner across the globe, we have some 550,000 volunteers.
My word.
Serve in their communities locally. And so it's a very important movement, and it's one that I endorse. We're celebrating 7 years.
Yeah, can you give us a bit of the how the club has evolved in terms of its the general membership and the nature and extent of the work that you've been able to do at such a young age, 7?
Yes, and you know, Dervan, we are 34 in numbers at the moment. When we started out with 21 members. Yes.
So you're steadily building.
We are steadily building. We have lost a few along the way.
Sorry to hear that.
Steadily progressing, and we have been participating in a number of different activities that would help to serve the communities. We feed the homeless and worship with them at the Marie Atkins shelter at least once per month over the 7 years that we have been in existence. Yeah. We have had donations and feedings for the children at the Bethlehem home, children's home, donations to the Maxfield Park Children's Home. Of course, care packages we have been giving to families that are in need over the period, especially during COVID. We have done book drives for schools. We have awarded scholarship for top performing SLP, that is Service Leadership Program, within the Trafalgar Prep School. Yes, each year we acknowledge one student, at least one student, and give them a scholarship. We encourage, we engage in personal care program for the Golden Age Home. Yes, and of course we have done some serious donations to the mustard seed communities. These are just highlights.
Yes.
Some off. Yeah? Some off.
And I gather I was listening to Simon Crosskill earlier on. I
With
think,
our president, yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. You're having a very special meeting and anniversary and induction meeting this evening.
Absolutely. And guess what? We're adding 5 more to our membership this evening.
Oh, wow.
We intend to speak to a big issue that confronts our nation at this time. And you know what that issue is? Has to do with our boys.
Yes.
Yes. We are boys left behind. Are they becoming adult criminals? That is the feature for our meeting this evening. And of course, we will be addressed by, a very known person in this arena. He is
Dr. Christopher Charles. Yes.
He's a professor of political and social psychology in the Department of Government, UWMONA. And he will be addressing that topic because he has been working really with Herbert Gale in ensuring that we focus on the issues that boys have and how those relate to the society that we have. And what is going on. I mean, we are at this time crime is so rampant in our society.
Yes.
And so we are looking at, possibly looking at these social ills and the causes why our boys are attracted to these gangs and so on. And perhaps look at how do we resolve this issue by bringing it to the attention of the state, our government, and the different interest groups, so we can look at some policies, some directions that will help to arrest this situation.
Yes. No, this is your timing is impeccable. This particular topic, boys left behind, are they becoming adult criminals? And there are those listening to us who, based on their experience, can actually say yes from where they are. So it's a serious, very serious issue. How do you plan to conduct this event, considering we're still in the throes of a pandemic?
Yes, we'll be doing it both online and a few of us will be gathered at the Jamaica Employers Federation, that's 2A Ruthven Road in Kingston here. And we'll be doing it online as well. So it's a hybrid meeting. We intend to have all the persons who are able to join us online as well. From across the world, I believe even the international president may be joining us this evening. This club, when it was formed, the international president and the governor out of Canada came to join us in the formation of this club. And so we know that this club is an important one, and we are trying to be as relevant as we can in the service of this nation. And we are helping as much as we can to reach those that seems to be unreachable, and to, arrest some of these situations that we have on our hands. I mean, this is really vital. So yes, we'll be
One moment, please. After the break, please tell us how people can, who is invited, who can be a part of this Kiwanis Club of Barbican 7th anniversary and induction meeting, where this very important presentation is to be made by Dr. Christopher Charles. Boys left behind, are they becoming adult criminals?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Richard Rowe is the, I think you said charter president. Is that the designation? You started it? Yes. Right. So please continue. Wanted to find out who is invited, who can get online. Obviously, those who are going to be on location would be a select few. But in terms of those who want to log on, is there anything in particular they need to know or need to do in order to be a part of the experience?
Yes, there is a Zoom link. We have been advertising the meeting via our social media spaces. So our Facebook and Instagram and so on. The flyer has been circulated, and the flyer has on it the actual. Wow, I'm sorry.
I know. Is that a motorcycle?
Wow, I'm so sorry. There are some big vehicles that passes along this way sometimes, and sometimes you can't even hear yourself.
Yes, noise pollution. Never mind.
Yes. Okay, so the Zoom link is available in that flyer that we have sharing.
Right. That's the one with the meeting ID.
Meeting ID
839-6805-0487, and the passcode being 244360.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's if they were to go to your Facebook page, you said they can see the information there, right?
Yes, the Kiwanis Club of Barbican. Yes.
Right.
Sure.
Great.
We really anticipate that persons will be joining from all the different clubs across Jamaica, as well as some of those on the international scene. They will be joining us online as well.
Well, we look forward to, let's see, 6 o'clock on a Friday evening. Let's see if we can pop in at some point and catch Dr. Charles's presentation, and naturally to look in on some of the practices of the Kiwanis Club of Barbican in terms of your induction, what you call your induction meeting. Yes, I'm sure
5 members will be inducted.
Right, there we go. Well, thank you very much for dropping in, popping in, for participating in this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. We wish you well in not just your capacity as a charter president of the Kiwanis Club of Barbican, but clearly also in your work as far as consumerism is concerned. Absolutely. That you continue to do. Well done, Richard Rowe. All the best.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Take care. You too. Bye-bye. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taki Lemkwa on YouTube says, that's true. Starting an investigation without any final conclusions will just have minds lingering in suspense as to what is still going. There must be reasons for the inconclusions. Thank you very much for your message, Taki Lemkwa. All the best. Here are the numbers to call once again, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Let's go to the WhatsApp number right now. Here's Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. He says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Friday to you and your listeners. Love the choice of music this evening. Unity is badly needed in Jamaica at this time. Clarky Bless, Hunstown, St. Mary. Thank you, Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. Another one. Good afternoon, sir. Seeking assistance with the repair of this bridge in Western Hanover in the community of Georgia. I wonder who has responsibility for that bridge. Chances are the Hanover Municipal Corporation. Chances are. All right, let's see if we can forward. Let's see if we can forward this to Stephen Shaw. Can we send it to Stephen Shaw? Why are we not seeing Stephen Shaw's contact? It's supposed to be here. All right, let's use the other device. So we're forwarding the information. You know how we like to do these things instantly. That way we won't forget. We just do them when we remember to do them. So we're preparing this message for transmission to Stephen Shaw of the National Works Agency. Just making sure we have his, all right, there he is. So let's do this, that, and let's share the totality of this message. Why are we not seeing that now? Oops. So we got the picture of the bridge, but we forgot to include the actual message. So let's copy the entire thing and forward it. And let's see what we have here now. It's not allowing us to see the actual message. As the late Wilmot Perkins would say, what the devil is happening here? What the devil is happening here? Hold on. Let's do this and that. For some strange reason, it's not taking the message in its entirety, which is rather odd. Very odd. We're going to try once again. Let's try this and that and bring this up. I tell you what, we'll have to resolve this off air because it's pretty straightforward, except that it's not happening, which is odd. Sorry, the person who sent us that message. For whatever reason, we're unable to. We have the bridge, yes, but it's not. It's the system is not allowing us to send both the message and the picture, which is odd. That's basic. Not sure what's happening there. We'll come back to that another time, but time is going. Jack EK says, good afternoon, Dervan. How can there be a civilized society when criminals are in charge? As I already said to you, it is only going to get worse. No, well, we don't know of any criminals being in charge of Jamaica. So I think you have the wrong country, Jack EK. And if you do have evidence that criminals are in fact in charge of Jamaica, then you should do something about it as a responsible citizen of Jamaica, as a concerned citizen of Jamaica. Have you reported the matter to the police high command? Have you reported the matter to the newly minted chief of defense staff? I'm just saying, how about taking it to the United Nations? I'm just saying, Jack EK, careful how you cry wolf. Be very careful how you cry wolf. Taki Lemko says, however, the brutal death of the autistic child and others as well as any other corruptive incidents must be unceasingly questioned by the public until something gives over time for each case. Well, we keep saying, and look, we can always do better as a country, as a people. as government, as opposition, as ministers, as MPs. You get the picture. We can always do better. We have still made some strides, and we shouldn't forget that. We have made some strides. Yes, still not enough, but we have seen, and we have heard, and we have read, and we have experienced instances of people being held accountable right now as we speak. Right now as we speak, we could cite at least a couple of cases. And so what we should do is just press on. What the song says, press along, saints, press along, press along, press along, and keep up the pressure where pressure needs to be kept up, and hold feet to the fire where feet need to be held to the fire. That's what citizens do. That's what citizens do. So let's do our duty. It's easy to point fingers on everybody else, but ourselves. We have a duty as well. And we play our part in different ways, in different capacities. But whatever we do, by all means, let's play our part. To the phone lines once again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Blessings and good day again, Mr. Markham.
You're not serious, are you?
Okay, so you didn't want to
No, we can't. No, we have people lined up. Plus, we have messages, multiple messages coming in. We have to try and get in as many other views and perspectives as possible. Not on the same day, please. Not on the same day. Maybe you could try us again on Monday. All right? Sorry about that, but we're really trying to. Yeah, we get a lot of cussing off air from time to time. People say you're on with this one person until this for so long and so on, or that person again. You talk to that person. We're trying our best because we have a responsibility here as well, and a duty to serve you, our faithful listeners, at home and abroad. So sorry about that. No disrespect, as Beres Hammond would say. No disrespect. We're just saying we're trying to get as many voices in as possible and as many messages. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, let's clear. Right, so let's clear this. Let's clear these messages first. Yeah, we read those already. So let's go to the other messages that have come in. So Donna Kroll says, as you're doing French this afternoon, Molière, responding to an invitation to dine with the king, simply wrote, J-A, capital J and small a, can you work it out? Donna Kroll, Montego Bay. Donna Kroll, my head is not there right now. I'm just trying to get through these messages as quickly as possible, including yours. And with that, is that the tilde over the N? So it would be Donya Kroll. J-A, capital J and small a. Yeah, on the face of it, you would say Jamaica, right? But this is Molière responding to an invitation to dine with the king. And he simply wrote capital J, common A. All right, we'll figure that one out eventually. Donya Kroll. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew's message. Good afternoon, Andrew. Thank you very much for your message. Eureka says, good afternoon, Dervan. Fixed deposits are not set for perpetuity. If you have a fixed amount for 30, 90, 180, or even 365 days, once the account reaches maturity, it doesn't mean it's going to roll over at the same rate. No, but it's a function of their agreement, the arrangement that you have with a particular financial institution. That is what determines all of that. But if it's a fixed deposit account, then the fixed deposit account is going to do what the fixed deposit account is supposed to do. That's it. market forces change, which will influence rates. Therefore, if you have an agreement with a bank, it doesn't mean you're going to get the same rate if you don't collect your money, which is why we said that we must ask questions. We must ask questions before we open these accounts, before we sign onto these arrangements. We must ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4 o'clock.
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission. Protecting your rights, securing our future.
Looking to the age that you're living in today's sisters. So come along, girls, and come along, sisters.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4:01. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. In fact, you can call us on WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Buenas tardes, señor Malcolm.
Buenas tardes, mi amigo.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, gracias.
Brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So how's things, Malcolm? Everything all right?
We're here giving thanks for life as usual.
Yeah. Boy, it's really so astonishing. The baby in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes one have to set example. Because what you don't want to happen is that when the next baby locked up in our car, it's gonna be very controversial. So you have to make the law prove like how it's supposed to prove. You understand? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm not sure how it would. In this case, I think there's a thing. There's child endangerment. We haven't heard of. Perhaps need to follow up on this one because we haven't heard what happens now, if that's it, or will. And again, we know this is sensitive, and we have to spare a thought for the parents of the deceased child. But then we don't know if after a while or at some time or at some point charges might be proffered against one against whoever is found to be culpable. We know that in the United States, for example, that would be a big deal in the US, and certain actions would be taken. Not sure what will flow from this. And again, we want to be cognizant of the fact that people are hurting, and not every action is a deliberate action. And one still needs to account. And so let's see what happens, because naturally the police would have to investigate the matter anyway. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's why I say, with my view, one would have to really, someone would have to get charged, because you must remember, I don't know what is the little boy name, or is that a boy or a girl?
Girl.
A girl. But I know she's supposed to register. You know what I mean? And she's an individual. You know what I mean? And she's alive. You know what I mean? And she's a baby. So someone have to take responsibility. You know what I mean? And it's not even one, it's two person who respond. You understand? So,
Yeah.
What we don't want to see we are Jamaica and something like that happen,
Nothing comes of it.
Nothing comes out of it, and then it will happen again, and then you'll hear controversy when the policeman, then that
Yes.
happened with the policeman. And you understand?
Yeah. It's so important, the messages and the signals that we send by virtue of the decisions we make, or the actions or inactions on our part. Yes.
Yeah, for real. Then another thing I want to comment on is the thing in England with the Prime Minister in England.
Boris Johnson.
It's a very different thing, because was he at the party?
Yes, there is enough evidence to place him within the midst of that, and being aware of it. It's more than one, actually. I think it's more than one. It's more like parties as opposed to one party.
Okay.
And
I don't think he's gonna make it.
Well, one of the things he did subsequent to there being all kinds of calls for him to go, and one member of his party, what they call it, went to the other side, like left the party, walked away from the party, and went to the other party, the opposition party in the House. And he went a step further. He made an announcement, which we played on this program. Effective at this time, you won't need to wear a mask again for this. You won't need to do this again and that again. So almost as if, yeah, like he's throwing in some sweeteners in the mix.
Yeah, that's a kind of guilt.
So, but it remains to be seen whether he will survive.
I don't think he's gonna make it, because those British people can deal with things different, and all the people deal with the constitution, there is a law there, So,
yes.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but it's either here or not here, for me with him, because it's not my real favorite.
Yes. Well.
But we down in Jamaica now, here, we have to set our thing on a level where it goes for everybody.
Yes, true. Brian and Tony Gold did that song years ago. Seems there is one law for the rich and another one law for the poor.
Yeah,
see, I don't.
Release,
oh.
Similar like that. Because the reason why I'm gonna release that this tune is the thing that the murder that took place in Barbican.
Yes.
At that lawyer's house. You know what I mean? So in seeing that, that make I write this song,
Right.
But,
well, in this day and age of social media, you can record that and get it out there on multiple platforms. And depending on how it is received, people, it might find favor.
Depends on how I execute it.
That too. So over to you in that regard.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Malcolm, you do a good work, you know. And what I like about your show is, you know, you teach people, you know. You teach some of the people, them, and, you know, most people kind of ignorant, you know, towards no situation and thing, you know. You tend to teach them on, you know, but you have a show about the Constitution, you know.
Would you believe we did one such show years ago? Well, more than one. We did a series. We did a series of shows in the early days of both sides of the story when we just started this program.
That is when Mr. Leng,
No, that you mean no? That's after the program.
Oh, after Mr. Leng.
Yes.
After Leng and Company.
Okay. After Leng and Company ended, because Leng and Company was a precursor to this program.
Yeah, because I can remember Mr. Leng, you know.
Yes, man. We did a series on the Constitution. We went through, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's time to do it again, especially as we mark. We're marking 60 years of independence, which, as we always say when we share that information, that we will always have the debates whether we're independent or not, and whether independence has done anything for us, etc., etc. But what we do know for a fact is that Jamaica gained independence on the 6th of August, 1962. Whatever we think about it, we can always get involved in the debates, but we can't change the fact that it happened on the 6th of August, 1962.
Yeah, Jamaica must make one step now and step into republic, you know.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see if that will indeed come to pass. Because I'll tell you something, as you mentioned that, in what year was it now? In 2007, on this day in 2007, the Gleaner reported that opposition leader Bruce Golding had declared that if his Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, wins the next general election, he will seek to amend the constitution and create a fixed election date. He said a JLP government would do so within its first 100 days in office. Golding made this announcement at a special meeting of JLP parliamentary and parish council candidates at the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston on this day in 2007. How many?
I don't know, that sound like a scratch record, because most of the prime minister them said that.
Thank you very much. In fact, I could, oh gosh, if there's I did a compilation. What did I do with it? A compilation of the different swearings in.
Yeah.
There's the swearing in ceremonies, and all the speeches were pretty much the same. Prime Minister Golding, Prime Minister Simpson Miller, Prime Minister Patterson, etc., etc.
Yeah, because even the last Prime Minister here, Mr. Holness, he mentioned that too.
Yes.
Election date and.
Man, I did a compilation the other day. Hold on, which day of the week was that? I need to find that.
But none of them don't want to do it because they want the time when they find the time right. You understand? Them call election, you know. So you know.
Yeah, well,
we have to get the constitution. You see, we need a people constitution, and the people have to come together and get the constitution right. Have sharing in the constitution too. That means it's like me or you gonna send a bill to Parliament. Or we gonna go to Parliament with a bill, and our suggestion is there. You understand?
Yes.
And the whole country have to come together and write a constitution. We know say yes. You have to go by that law. You understand?
Yes.
You know, because Jamaica need a real constitution. You know, if you notice how Jamaica running now, it's like it come like in the ministry. That minister tell the minister they say he would have liked him to do something. But to the minister no response to that, it's not done. You know, and it's just a go round. You understand?
Uh-huh.
You know, it can't really work like that. You know, Jamaica needs to come to one. You know?
Right.
You know? and you know. But anyway,
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for calling.
yeah, hasta pronto.
Indeed.
Hasta mañana. No, not mañana. Sorry, hasta.
Yeah, well,
Okay, hasta pronto.
hasta pronto. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Hello? Afternoon. One moment, please. I found, well, que hora es? Let's do this the way we normally do it. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4h15. 现在几点了？4点15分. 15 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know it's a Friday, but you know what we always say? Have some fun doing the homework now so you can have some more fun this weekend. How about that? And as we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you... Let's do that again. I was distracted. Sorry about that. Socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. So here's the information we mentioned. 2010. Let's look at the year 2010. The headline was Conman Country. Sham contractors defraud government of awards. Police suspect mastermind behind scams, which was another headline. Chief watchdog of the country's contracts award process. I beg your pardon. Chief watchdog of the country's contracts award process, Greg Christie, revealed that the sham contractors implicated in the National Housing Trust saga are just the tip of what appears to be the colossal iceberg of shady service providers getting government contracts. Another headline, this is the year 2010 we're talking, around the 10th of January 2010, as published by The Gleaner. Web of Deceit, Corruption Colors Jamaica. The disclosure last week by the Office of the Contractor General of a corrupt network involving a senior employee of its office, sham contractors, and possibly employees of the National Housing Trust has again raised concerns about the level of corruption in Jamaica. This comes at a time when Jamaica's slide down the International Corruption Index is continuing. This is a story. These are stories from 2010, published in The Gleaner on the 10th of January 2010. Here's what Jamaica's, and the story goes on to chronicle what Jamaica's prime ministers have said about corruption at their respective swearing-in ceremonies. So let's start with P.J. Patterson's swearing-in, November 6, 2002.
The team I choose will be expected to serve diligently and with humility. There must be no taint of corruption.
All right, that's the only voice I'm doing right now. So that's former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson speaking at his swearing-in ceremony at King's House on the 6th of November 2002. On the subject of corruption, Prime Minister Patterson said, "The team I choose will be expected to serve diligently and with humility. There must be no taint of corruption." That's 2002. Let's look at Portia Simpson Miller's swearing in on the 31st of March 2006. Here's what she had to say. "I pledge to work tirelessly to end all corruption and extortion. Both of these diminish our economic potential, and I will do everything in my power to break the power of the criminals. Once again, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's swearing-in speech, March 31st, 2006. I pledge to work tirelessly to end all corruption and extortion. Both of these diminish our economic potential, and I will do everything in my power to break the power of the criminals. Here's Bruce Golding's swearing in on the 12th of September, 2007. Mr. Golding declared in his inaugural address that his government would demonstrate in its first 100 days political will as it moves to eliminate corruption. We're going to leave it there for now and continue with the calls. Let's go on. 876-922-4112-5. Let's go to this call on the WhatsApp line, same as the text line, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Vision of New York. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Dervan, Happy New Year to you, man.
Happy New Year to you too.
And to your audience.
Thank you.
Those were just written speech, so I wouldn't expect them to go much further than right there. Most of them. So they were just prepared for the inauguration. So.
But why shouldn't we be able to take our leaders at their word when they say they're going to do something? Why should we just put it down to being just another inauguration speech? How about holding them accountable for every single word that they utter at their inauguration?
But it's like it's like it goes right around the table. Nobody remember those things too much after that, so they just have those speech to say at that time. But that's where it's gonna go. It's not gonna go much further because there's nobody there. There's not much people or whatever there to hold them accountable. So that's
we need leaders. We need leaders who will do as they say, do exactly what they say they're going to do. And if they have to make anything is possible, because we don't live in a linear way. Anything is possible. But if something comes up, at least come back to the people and say, look, I did commit, or I did promise, or I did plan, or I did make arrangements for so and so. I'm sorry to report that we can't do that right now, but I'm doing my best to make it, or we're doing our best to make it possible in the next fiscal year or something like that. But whatever you do, if once you've made a declaration to say you're going to do something, if you see, and even before the time comes around by which people expect to see something, if at least go back to the people and say, tell them what has happened or has not happened and how you plan to correct what has not happened to ensure that what you said would happen will indeed happen.
Yeah, it should. But then again, on the other hand, a lot of people can't take when some people decide to put their campaign promises into action. Like, for instance, I give you a few examples. Like our last president here, Donald Trump, many could not handle when he began to put what he was saying into action. And there's a president in the Philippines, which the Philippines is not the same when he began to put what he had campaigned and into practice and to fix the country. So not a whole lot of people can handle those stuff either. They begin to come against him and say, he's kind of, maybe he's crazy or whatever. But that's what they are campaigning on. And when the time comes, he begin to put it into action. And a lot of people turn against him because of his campaign promises.
Yes.
So not everybody can do campaign promises, really. But the thing what I really want to call it to talk about, Mr. Dervan, is that little baby girl that perished in that car in Black River.
Yes.
As a father myself here who raised up two little girls, no, they're adults, they are big grown women now. And from baby stage, I've been, they've been, in their life, they're pretty much a part of my life. Taking them to the daycare, to the babysitter. Really, really and truly, somebody would have to sit me down and explain to me how that could possibly be for something like that to happen. Because really,
yes, man, it happens. It does happen.
I know those things happen, but
in fact, on average, in the United States, on average, or about 40 families experience forgotten baby syndrome every year.
Yes, but that's what I said. I still, because for instance, the last one I heard of, the guy was there texting women all day, and that's what the judge got him for. How could you be there texting woman or woman, whatever it was, and you didn't remember nothing about your baby all day? But the part that I really want to stress on is, yes, you could come out of the car and forget that the baby was in the car, but all day nothing came back to you, no recollection, no little memory, no nothing about the baby all day.
Yes, man, it happens. It happens. It's like we were saying earlier on, when you are, and I've heard a couple of psychiatrists on this subject, when you're accustomed to a particular routine, this is something that you do every day, all of a sudden there is something new, there's something that you're now being asked to do, which you would not normally, you'd never done before, or you would not normally do as part it during that routine exercise. So by the time, so you're there, so you routinely come out of the car, for argument's sake, lock the door, and you go inside, because you don't normally have a baby with you. You don't normally carry the baby or have the baby with you. So you just come out of the car and you lock the door, because your mindset, because we're creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit, and the mindset is you just come out, you lock the door, and unless you perhaps hear a sound or that would get your attention, let's say for argument's sake, the baby is sleeping. If the baby is sleeping, then that makes it all the more possible for you to just come out of the car, lock the door, get into the office. Maybe you're running late. Maybe you have a meeting. Maybe there's a case you're working on. Maybe you need to go to a particular location to do some surveillance, whatever it is, and you just go right into work mode, and you totally forget that you had a baby in the car. It happens, sadly.
Even when you're lunchtime and nothing, break time.
Yes, out of sight, out of mind.
Wow.
It happens, man. It happens.
But then again, my next point is, if this was the first time or the second time you're taking the baby to the babysitter or to the daycare, and there was some arrangement with the daycare, I can't see the daycare did not even call to find out that, I thought the baby was coming. We didn't see the baby coming, so there was not a telephone call between even the wife and husband, or was it there, your first time dropping off the baby. I don't know, but it just kind of really
But it's funny you should say that. You know what I noticed I was in Atlanta, Georgia, with family, and a member of the family was taking one of the children to school. And what I liked about their environment was that the teachers, I'm not saying our teachers don't take that kind of interest, but they know everything in a manner of speaking. They can't know everything, but they know everything about the child. They know what time the child normally gets to school, so that if the child is not at school by a certain time, they pick up the phone and they call mommy or daddy or whoever would normally. Or like when I went, I was given the privilege. I got the privilege of walking with my little family member, walking her into school, and straight away, because they saw me first before they saw her mom. In fact, I don't even remember if her mom. No, I think they saw me first. So right away, and the teacher was very pleasant about it. She was, hello, and she called to the child, and she called to me, and she says, and who would you be now? As in, who are you to be carrying this little girl to school? Because we're seeing you for the first time. One moment, please. Yes. One moment.
Sure.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:31.
Hello, Jamaica. I am Death. Thanks for your awesome work cutting lives short and making my job so much easier. Drivers, please continue speeding, transporting your kids without child seats, and driving without seat belts. You've exceeded my expectations and my quota. Ward off death. Obey the road code. A message from the Road Safety Unit.
Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5 heures moins 27. 现在几点了？5点27分。27 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Yes, thanks for holding. So there are some institutions like that where the teachers, the caregivers, they know everything about the family in a manner of speaking. And so once something appears to be out of place, they seize on that. They act on it right away. And I experienced that. Yes.
Yeah, the teacher want to know who are you,
Yes.
Yes, but you see, this is how they say these things. I remember, I'll give you an instance. One day my daughter she was not feeling well, so she did not go to school that day. And the school called. They're not just going to leave it like that.
Yes.
And they called and we said, she was not feeling too well this morning, so but she will be in school tomorrow. Before the day is over, somebody came from the school to the house. Yeah. I heard the bell rang. I went to the door, answered the door. The man identified himself, said, I'm from the school. He here to check on my daughter. I said, yeah, she is fine. She will be coming to school tomorrow. He said, no, I cannot leave. Tell her to come to to the door. Let me just to make sure that I see her and she's okay, because he has to go back and make a report.
Right.
You know, he would
Yes.
not just take my word for it.
Yes. In an ideal world, that's what's supposed to happen at any school anywhere in the world, not least of all our schools in Jamaica. Once a child is absent from school and there's no communication beforehand to say that this child would not be at school, somebody should seize that moment. Somebody should try to find out right away, because who knows, you just might end up saving the child's life.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm saying if there was any arrangement with that daycare, when there was the first, second, after that first week, and you know you expect the child to come in today, this morning, and you didn't see the child turn up, you know, I think out of concern, you would have called the parents and find out, you know, what happened, why the child didn't come in, you know, and that would have saved her life.
Yes.
Because then, you know, those calls that, you know, the contacts would have been made, what happened to the child, then he would remember that, the child left in the car. You know, so it's very unfortunate, really.
It is really sad, really heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. My condolences to the family.
Yes.
And I wish them all the best.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, no problem.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's clear some more messages. Here is Pearl Brown. Pearl Brown says, bless up the Kiwanis Club of Jamaica. They have been doing some great work, which my husband was a part of, she says. God bless them all. Sir D, have a great weekend. Same to you, Miss Pearl. Take care. Another message. This one says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. Glad to hear you with that man. Please put this to him for me. I went to, we'll just jump over the name of the entity for now until you went to a particular place to apply for a loan. The loan was approved. They sent you to the bank to pay some money as processing. Text them my receipt as proof of payment. They keep on giving me the runaround when I will get the loan. Could not wait any longer for that money, so I told them I need back my money. They told me that it is not refundable. How can this be, Mr. Malcolm? Need some help. HR in St. Bess. This is the thing now, why we have to know what the conditions are. Did they share with you a document which you signed or acknowledged that the sums paid were not refundable? That's the thing now. Is it on any document anywhere? Was it made very clear to you that those fees were, or that money was non-refundable, as you put it? Please give us a little more information on that. But it's important. It's important for us to ask questions. Let's not be shy or afraid. It's our money. It's our business. And we want to make sure we're making the right decision. So ask questions. And it doesn't necessarily, don't allow anybody to rush you. If you have to take another day to make up your mind, or some other time to go through, to read the thing for yourself, or to get somebody to read it through for you, do that. Don't be in a rush. And the HR says, need to know how I can get back my money talking about from December. Well, it perhaps is still not too late. There is the Consumer Affairs Commission, the CAC. You can start there. They have a success rate in excess of 95% in terms of helping consumers to resolve these issues. So that's where I would start. The Consumer Affairs Commission. There, I would also perhaps get in a word with the Financial Services Commission. The Financial Services Commission would be another entity that I would want to share this information with. So those are our suggestions, HR. Ralph says, good day, Dervan. Have you had a chance to traverse Spanish Town Road lately? Oh, yes, I know Spanish Town Road very well. And yes, I've been up and down Spanish Town Road at different times, in recent times as well, as recent as, what day is today? As recently as yesterday, because I had to Paul in Philadelphia, if you're listening, we have made the deliveries. One of them took me to Spanish Town Road yesterday, one of those deliveries. We have made the deliveries, and you will get the requisite documentation to confirm receipt of those items. But thank you very much, Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation, for the work you continue to do. So Ralph, yes, Ralph, I've traveled on Spanish Town Road. Ralph says, I don't know if you are aware, but the road from Mandela to Spanish Town Road in downtown Kingston has been excavating since January of 2020 for the purpose of laying major NWC pipes to improve water distribution. I noticed almost every other month a part of the road is repaired and dug up back constantly over the past 2 years. Is it possible to find out why the constant paving and redigging of the road? Why can't we get the Chinese to do these types of work? Please find out when this project will be finished, because it's frustrating for motorists. It is the poor vehicles and those of us in these vehicles who feel like the vehicle is, the state of the road is shaking out of us whatever we had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Or for those who might be expectant mothers, possibly taking them to early delivery with all that shaking. No, it's a serious matter. And it speaks to the need for us to be more clinical in our approach, more clinical, more surgical in our approach, to this kind of work, where we have extensive work being done. It should, the commuters, the road users in general, should not be, the contractors should ensure, in as far as is humanly possible, should ensure that the road users are not totally discombobulated by these ongoing works, and that the people in the communities through which these roads run should have a sense of the timeline, what is happening, follow-ups. And we hope they had a community meeting at the start of the work or before they started the work. And there should be, issue some flyers, use a town crier to tell people who live in these areas why the road is in the state that it is in, how soon you hope to get it back on track, etc., etc. It's just basic manners and respect and regard. And it's the right thing to do. It's the decent thing to do. It's the done thing. Let's do the right thing. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission, protecting your rights, securing our future.
This is the time that we all should live as one brothers. This is the time that we all should live as one sisters. So come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. UNITY is unity. So come along, brothers and sisters. Oh, oh, oh. We must leave us war, because two wrongs can never make a right.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5 heures moins 13. 现在几点了？5点加13分。13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Many more messages coming up. Let's see. Who is this now? Let's go to... let's go to this one. This message says, good day. Good day, Dervan. Congratulations to the people of Barbados. Oh, I read that one already, but that part of the message already. But he or she has sent us another message. If the criminals are not in charge, then who is, and why are they not acting more efficiently? Well, like we said, that's always debatable, but we know of no criminals being in charge of Jamaica. This one says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. I was listening to Mrs. Favour Williams recently during your outside broadcast on another station in Augustown. I don't think Jamaica is a civilized country. And the reason I say that is you can see how we treat each other on the roads. the disposal of garbage, and the horrendous treatment by taxi drivers. We take down street signs and metals for bridges and verges, etc. If we are to fix the problem, we have to start in our schools because many homes are not equipped to deal with the social issues. One of the things I heard Mrs. Williams stating is that she's going to reach out to the police commissioner to see how they can work together to address the crime problem. She also needs to include the prisons to demonstrate to troubled kids the consequences of joining gangs or being indisciplined. We need to start training teachers how to teach kids basic respect and discipline at all levels because many homes are not equipped to deal with the social issues. Thank you very much for your message on our WhatsApp line. I believe this is from GMAC in the Cayman Islands. That's GMAC in the Cayman Islands. Thank you very much for your message. And all the best to you and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in the Cayman Islands. Thank you very much. All right, let's move up the line. Another message. Good afternoon. That person might have worded their sentence incorrectly by saying criminals are in charge of Jamaica. But the 2.8 to 3 million of us are not all physically blind and deaf to see that we are heading to 100 murders in just 21 days, and over 80 have died from homicides. Something is fundamentally wrong. What do you think we have done to reach this stage? Well, we've been putting up with a lot of slackness, literally and figuratively, for decades, and the chickens are coming home to roost. And they've been coming home to roost for quite some time. But we have been supporting too much slackness at all levels in our respective families, in our households, in our communities, in our institutions of socialization in general. We have been condoning and putting up with a lot of slackness. And that is what is coming back at us right now. Those of us who have failed to take responsibility, those of us who have failed to play their part, there's more than enough blame to go around. What we must do is, as individuals, what we can do is to play our part in whatever way we can, while we can. Just do what we can for whomever we can while we can, and especially look out for the children. And let us protect our children as best as possible. Because any change that we wish to see in this country, sadly, is not necessarily going to come from those of us who are adults right now or middle-aged or senior citizens. It's not going to come from us right now. It's the next generation and the one after that and the one after that. But we can start it. We can start something. So let us start something that is going to have a lasting impact on our country, even long after we're gone. That's the idea. Make a difference. Make a difference. Do something, no matter how small. How about that? Thank you for your message. Who is this? Who sent us that message? Hold on. Let's see. This was not seeing somebody by the moniker S, just S. All right. So we'll save the message as S. Thank you, S, for your message. Here's another of the messages. Eureka says, hi, Dervan. hold on. England has fixed election date, but the last 3 elections were done before the due date. And then the person says, Dervan, you're bad. I can't believe you have such talent and you don't show it off more often. I would love for you to do more voices more often. Well, you're very kind. And this one says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. The gentleman who's quoting the Bible as a historical fact about the Americas is joking. The Bible didn't go beyond Minor Asia. Thanks. And this is coming from Roy. Hope you're not being coy, Roy. There's a song along those lines. Don't mean to be coy, Roy. Which song is that? Is the one that you can be my bodyguard? I can be, is that one? Don't mean to be, no, maybe another one. Maybe I'm mixing them up. Here's another message. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Can you recall the is this minister or ministry? Because you just have MIN. It could be ministry or minister of finance announcing in November 2020 that disability persons who benefited from $10,000 COVID grant in 2019 would get another benefit for Christmas 2020. No, I can't recall. If yes, not so. As a matter of fact, many who applied 2019 still haven't gotten any help. We need help. Well, I don't know if the website is still up or the number is still functional. But if you're not able to, if you can get one of the youngsters with a smart device who can go on the internet and type "We Care" in the browser, wecare.gov.jm, wecare.gov.jm, and some of your questions could be answered by the information on that website. That's what we humbly suggest. Other than that, if you're destitute and really in need of help, we would suggest the Poor Relief Department of your municipal corporation, or the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. That's what we would suggest in terms of help. And do we have time for more? What time is it? I think it's time. It's time for us to wrap. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Friday, the 21st of January, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
We must leave us one, because two wrongs can never make a right. So look into the age that we're living in today, brothers. Look into the age that we're living in today, sisters. So come along, brothers, and come along, sisters. UNITY is unity. So come along, brothers and sisters. Oh, oh.
FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
news, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.
Bye.